Hi. So, as promised, I want to share with you the muscle that I used to make it through Thanksgiving without having a drink. I quit drinking, as I've mentioned, about a year ago, a little over a year ago. It's a decision I made, a commitment I made to myself to just end my relationship with alcohol. And um, having made the decision, it was actually much easier to quit than I ever expected it would be. However, there are times when um, that urge is really strong, the urge to pick up a drink again. And, particularly around scenarios, situations where in the future, in the past, I would have drank. And the Thanksgiving holiday just so happened to be one of them because, well, firstly, I was in the kitchen from 9 a.m. All day long. So you're tired. Um, the people around me were drinking, and so I felt a little bit left out. Um, and it just looked fun, and it sounded fun to just have a glass of wine. It's no big deal. And then my brain started trying to tell me like, you've gone a year without it. You could probably have a glass of wine, and it would be fine. And I just felt the urge to drink. And typically in the past, when I was trying to quit something, um, and the urge would come up to partake in that thing, I would kind of start to panic like, oh crap, like I want to do this. And where is this coming from? And I thought I had kind of overcome this. And oh my God, I want this. And like, how am I going to not drink? And how am I going to not do this? And I would get really anxious because um, the urge would come up. And then all of a sudden, all my attention would go towards trying to fight the urge. Which, when we do that, when we have an urge and we try to fight it, the urge just grows because it's now all we're focusing on. So we're just caught in this conversation in our heads of trying to logically talk ourselves out of the thing. And that doesn't work either because the urge is primal, right? The urge is an instinct, a habit. It's a desire. It's not the reason it's an urge, the reason it's a temptation is because you've already decided with your higher mind, with your prefrontal cortex, that you don't want to do this particular thing. So it's your old brain, it's your old habits, it's your old patterns that are coming in and trying to be fulfilled, be satiated. And so when we give that all of our attention and we start to believe that urge, very rarely do we make it through. I mean, a lot of, I've white knuckled myself through things before. People can do that. But it's really hard and it's really uncomfortable and it doesn't work in the long term. So for me, when I mentioned what is the muscle that I have built that helped me to not drink yesterday, awareness and acceptance and allowing those three muscles. That's three muscles, not one. But it is all like one muscle and it's the idea of just allowing the urge, not fighting against it. Now you hear that and you think, if I allow my urges, if I just accept them, I'm going to do the thing. Like surely I have to fight against it. I need to like you know, bring in my A game and like, stomp it down and power my way through it. That takes so much effort and so much energy to do that. Where if you're the least bit off, the least bit unfocused, or you just get the least bit more triggered, you're going to give in to the urge because it's rare that you have that much, focus and self-discipline in any given moment. That's why we cave when we, make resolutions or we decide to stick to things or try to stick to things. And we don't have this tool of allowing the urge and accepting and awareness. So what happened for me yesterday, and I didn't even realize I was doing this until this morning when I woke up and I was like, wow, I didn't drink yesterday. And there were a few times where I really thought I was going to and I really wanted to. And I was just meditating on that and being really grateful for that. And I was like, how did I not do it? Because I have been, trying to quit things my entire life. I've always got some sort of habitual thing I'm trying to quit. Um, Drinking was the one I tried to quit probably for 15 years before I did successfully. So this is a big one for me. So anyways, how did I do it? And I was like kind of just in awe of what had happened, what had transpired. Um, and I realized like, oh, it's this tool of allowing. It's this tool of acceptance. It's this tool of non-resistance that I've been cultivating in my life that enabled me to not give in to the urge. And so what that looks like is I'm standing at the sink, the people around me are pouring drinks, pouring glasses of wine. I'm feeling emotional because I think Thanksgiving this year was deeply emotional for a lot of people. Some of us were really missing loved ones that we were used to being with. Some of us may have been alone entirely. Some of us have had really hard years. So, yesterday there were a lot of emotions triggered for me. So that was part of it. And I just felt left out. Everybody was drinking and I was like, drinking was fun. When I drank, there were times when I really enjoyed it. And, I quit for obvious reasons, but, it's not like I could tell my brain like, no, you hate, drinking sucks. You should never drink. That's just, my brain's not going to believe it because there are times when like, yeah, it helped me relax and it helped me like, be a little more loose and a little more goofy and, not feel things. And so I had all this happening yesterday but I was just so aware of what was happening. I have cultivated this muscle of awareness so that I know when I'm in touch with my body, and when the urge started to come up, I was just kind of like, oh, I'm having the urge to drink. And then I was like, oh, it's because I'm feeling left out, and it's because I'm tired and I've been in the kitchen all day, and it's because I'm feeling emotional. And my brain is reacting to that by wanting to drink. And I was like, that's interesting. And I just kind of recognized the urge. I just allowed it to be there. I just kind of kept doing the dishes. I was like, okay, I'm very aware that there is this urge to drink right now. Deep breaths. Kept doing my thing. Like, yeah, it's there. It's like sitting on my shoulder, this urge to drink. It's just there. It's just hanging out while I'm doing the dishes. And I just kept doing the dishes, and then I think I got distracted with something else. Thanksgiving's very distracting, and then it came up a few more times when we all sat down to eat. Everybody's pouring their drinks, and I just had another moment of, geez, it'd be so nice just to have a glass of wine right now. And then just another deep breath, and like, there's that urge again to have a drink. And that just happened a few times throughout the day. And by the end of the night, when everyone around me was kind of like getting to that point where, they had drank maybe a little in excess and they were starting to like act a little goofy. And in my mind, I was like, oh, they're going to feel like shit tomorrow. I'm not laughing like vindictively. I'm just like laughing that I just said that. They're going to feel awful tomorrow. Thank God I didn't drink. I get to wake up and feel clear-headed and not regret. And like, I made it and I didn't drink and I had a good time and I get to go to sleep. And, yeah, it was amazing. And I didn't even realize what was happening until I got through, and I was sitting down today and I was like, how did I do that? That felt really good because it wasn't hard. Like I was conscious of it, and I had to like, remind myself of my decision to quit drinking, remind myself of kind of why I quit drinking. But it wasn't like I had to go to battle with the urge. Because if I had gone to battle with the urge, what would have happened is I would have panicked that I had the urge and made it mean all kinds of things. Like, oh my gosh, all this work you've done like you're backsliding and what's going to happen. And I thought you wanted to quit drinking and now you don't want to quit drinking. And what's wrong with you? And why do you want to drink all of a sudden? And you're going to quit on yourself. And I just would have gone into all kinds of drama about it because I would have been trying to fix the urge and make the urge go away. That does not work. We don't fix urges. The only fix for the urge is to fulfill the urge. That's the only thing that makes the urge go away, is to give it what it wants. So the way through the urge is just to like be aware of it, let it be there, just accept that it's there. It's just like this angry little gremlin in the back seat, like, hey, drink me, right? And you're just like, hey, I see you there. I hear you. You're just a gremlin in my back seat. You're not me. It's not me that wants to drink. It's just an urge. So I didn't go to war with it. I didn't make it mean anything. I didn't panic. I didn't have anxiety. I didn't spin out in my head of like, what does this mean? Is this going to be hard from here on out? And like all of a sudden, am I losing all my ground? And like, am I going to be a drinker again? And what's going to happen? And like all the drama, right? None of that. I just kind of had this like, wow, this urge is really strong right now. That's interesting. That's all that happened. That's all that is different. That was different than the me 2 years ago who wouldn't have been able to resist the urge. Just becoming aware, allowing the urge, and not giving in to the urge. The way to not give in to the urge is to like just not let the urge be a big deal. Just don't freak out that of course it's going to be there at times. Like you're when we give something up, it's because at one point we really loved this thing. It was really serving us in some way. Like, if we're comfort eaters or, gamblers or into pornography or whatever it is that we were using was serving a purpose for us. And so, of course, there's going to be times when your brain is going to be like, remember that thing that used to make you feel good? Let's do that. It's just an urge. It's just your brain like scrambling, like, wait, this is the part where we do this, remember? And like, oh, you're feeling that. This used to be the best solution for that, remember? It's just your brain doing its thing. It doesn't mean anything about you. It doesn't mean you've lost your moral ground. It doesn't mean you're losing your perspective. It doesn't mean anything. It just means there's an urge. Just allowing it. The less I resist the urge, the less I feel like I have to fulfill the urge. And it's a practice. The practice of allowing, it starts with becoming aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your experience. And that is like a daily, just like you would build any muscle, that's a daily muscle that you build. And you can do it through self-reflection, you can do it through meditation, you can do it through journaling. It's just becoming aware of what's happening in your brain and what's happening in your physical body. And yesterday I was dealing with a lot of emotion, and because I've made a choice in my life to stay present to myself and stay present to my life and not escape through drinking, I was aware of a lot of emotion coming up for me. And so I had to take 15, 20 minutes and go upstairs and sit in my room and just allow some emotion to be there and acknowledge, like, I feel really heavy and I feel sad. And like, there's a lot of things happening and I miss people and people I love are hurting right now. And there's a lot. And I just let that emotion be present instead of feeling like I had to get away from it. And recognizing that part of why I wanted to drink was to escape that emotion. And instead of escaping it, I just allowed it. And in doing that, then my brain's like, oh, okay, we're cool. She doesn't need to escape. She's got it. It's all good. Right? Like, that's the way it works. And I was so thrilled to see that, like, all this work I've been doing, to see it in practice. It's like when you've been going to the gym or you've been working out or you've been doing your thing, and then like, you go through this really strong, like, demanding physical thing, you're like, oh wow, I'm like way stronger than I realized I was. It must be all that time I spent in the gym. Like I didn't even realize I gotten so strong. That's what happened yesterday. It was just like second nature to be with the urge and not get all dramatic about it in my head. And by fighting the urge, we make it so big to where it's almost impossible to overcome. We just cave. And if we don't cave in the moment, we usually cave later, like with something else. And we're like, oh, that took like everything in me to fight that urge. Now I'm going to eat a pint of ice cream because I just can't handle it anymore, right? Our brains are crazy. But yeah, it was really empowering. And I want to share this with you because I'm now that I've like, oh, that muscle's gotten really strong, that allowing, that accepting, that non-resistance. I'm going to apply that muscle to other things in my life that I've been wanting to address, which is eating Reese's peanut butter cups for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, one thing at a time, right? One thing at a time. So I'm excited. I'm excited because that's been a hard one, right? Like I'll be like, okay, I'm not going to eat anymore this week. And then something hard will hit or I'll be tempted and then I will try to fight the urge. Sorry, my hair's going crazy. Try to fight the urge and then I just get exhausted and I just give into it, you know? And when I realized how I had been able to apply that allowing the urge muscle to drinking, I was like, oh, that's how I'm going to quit sugar too, right? Make the decision to do what the thing you want to do. Know that the urge is going to happen because we are creatures of habit. And if something has created a good feeling for us in the past, our brain is going to want us to do that thing again. Your brain doesn't know any better. It's just trying to make you feel better. So then you're just knowing the urge is there. Oh, okay, there's that urge. There's that gremlin. He may be there for a while. That's okay. He can just hang out. I don't have to do what he says. He's just there. Don't turn around. Try to kick the gremlin out of the car. Try to strangle the gremlin. Because then all your attention is on the gremlin, right? And that's all you can see. And that's all you're thinking about. And you've just become the gremlin. Instead, it's just like, oh, it's just that thing. That urge. So, allowing. Awareness, acceptance, allowing. That is the most powerful muscle you can build when you're trying to change a behavior. Just recognizing that your urge isn't you. It's just a habit. It's just a habit. And the more you resist it, the more it persists. It does not take willpower to resist an urge. I mean, you can. People do it. That's the hardest way to do it, and it doesn't usually last your whole life. Allowing the urge. And the more you allow the urge and don't answer it, don't fulfill it, the quieter and quieter it gets. Your brain finally just stops offering it to you because it realizes you're never going to take action. So it's like, oh, I guess she's done with that one. Okay, moving on. Right? But it takes those moments of the urge coming up and you not acting on it to start to train your brain, oh, we don't do this anymore. But the key point I'm making today, and I'm just rambling because I'm really enjoying talking right now, so just I hope you're still with me. I hope this is helping. But the key point today is just the art of the muscle of allowing, being aware of what's happening in your body around you and not reacting to it and not freaking out about it in your head, not making it mean anything. Just there's the urge. You can even give it a name if it helps. Hey, Harry, what's up? I thought you'd show up today. Have a LaCroix. Anyways, I hope that's helpful. Holidays, hard to navigate, when it comes to those things. And, if you are trying to stick to your commitments and to your habits, this is really helpful. And I hope this helps you. Email me with questions. If you want to work on this individually, I work on this with my clients in my coaching practice. Message me. We can set up a consult. I can help you build this muscle. I can teach this to you. It really is something that you need to, you know, cultivate. It's not something you just like pick up overnight. Well, maybe you do. But for me, it's taken, um, you know, practice, daily practice to cultivate awareness, acceptance, allowance, non-resistance. Life is so much easier this way. It's so much less painful. It's so much less painful. Message me or email me, fill out a consult form on my website, and we can talk about what it would look like to help you build this muscle. But at any rate, I hope this concept helps. Message me, email me with any questions, and I hope you have a very happy holiday and that your gremlins don't get to drive the car.